We have launched our EC2 instance and now let's examine the security groups. We can gain a preliminary understanding of the security group by clicking on security here. This gives us an overview of the security group associated with our instance, allowing with the inbound and outbound rules. What I will do next is I'll access the more comprehensive page on the security group from the left hand side menu. Under networking and security, you select security groups. We can see that thus far there are two security groups in our console. There is a default security group which is created automatically and the launch wizard one which is the first security group created when we launch our EC2 instance. Each security group has an identifier much like an EC2 instance has an ID. We can also review the inbound rules. The inbound rules are what allow connectivity from outside with the EC2 instance. In this case we have two inbound rules. To get a better view, let me click on edit inbound rules. So one is set for SSH on port 22, XSL from anywhere, denoted 0.0.0. Another rule is for the HTTP on port 80. This particular rule is what enables us to access our web servers. If we go to the EC2 console and navigate to our instance, we'll open this HTTP website. This functionality works because the rule set for port 80. Let's confirm this. If we delete this rule from port 80 and save the changes, now if I go back and refresh my page, there is an infinite loading string indicating that I no longer have access to the EC2 instance. Always verify your security group rules to ensure proper access to our EC2 instances. Anytime you encounter a timeout, understand that it's because of the system that's attempting to connect to fail, and eventually it will stop trying. The security situation known as a timeout. Therefore, if you experience a timeout while trying to establish connection via SSH that times out, an HTTP query that doesn't go through, or any other action resulting in a timeout, it's almost certain because of the configuration of the EC2 security group. In that case, you should review your security group rules and ensure they are set up correctly because incorrect configuration will lead to timeouts. To remedy this, we can restate the rules. For instance, we can set up the HTTP allowed traffic on port 80 automatically and then allow access from anywhere. This includes the entire range of IP addresses. After saving the rules, let's implement this. When we return to the page and refresh it, we'll see that now it's functioning correctly. This inbound rule was instrumental in solving the issue. Remember, you can add any type of inbound rules. We have the flexibility to specify the range of ports that we need. For example, we might choose 443 HTTPS. You also have the option to determine where you want to allow the access. You can choose from various CIDR blocks, security groups, or prefix links. We'll cover this in the more detail in the later course. For now, just be aware that we can either offer custom CIDR block or we can have the, if we prefer, select my IP to restrict only to our own IP addresses. Be aware that if the IP changes, we'll encounter the timeout and will not be able to access the EC2 instance. Now let's see the outbound rules granting our EC2 instance internet connectivity. It's important to note that we have two security groups here, the default and the launch wizard one. The EC2 instance can have multiple security group associated with it. It's possible to attach not just one but two or three or even up to 5 security groups with their respective rules accumulated. Furthermore, these security groups that we have created by default, such as this launch wizard one, can also be linked to other EC2 instances. You have the flexibility to attach as many security groups as you desire, as well as the associate as many EC2 instances needed to one security group. That concludes this lecture. I hope you found this informative. I look forward to seeing you in the next lecture.